Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Actually, got started on time today, and I see Philip Beiderbecke is already in the chat, and I'm about to severely disappoint him because I was not able to make it to Wichita. Oh god, forgot to mute myself. I like to pull up my video on the other screen just to make sure that it is actually working, but sometimes I forget to mute my audio. I do want to do a quick what sold video here in or a what sold segment here in a minute because I didn't get around to making it yesterday. I just ran out of time. Just was a busy day yesterday. But let me see here, get that all ready. And I'll hide that and then I'll share that again in a minute. Just wanted to get that pulled up and ready. So Philip said, "Hi everyone, looking forward to hearing about the Wichita show." So I know not everyone saw, but I did. I posted, yeah, because I didn't go live last week, um, in case you didn't know. But we had a sick cat. She's actually in here with me right now. She's doing much better, thankfully. But it was Monday afternoon. She got sick, and we've just had the worst luck. I think I said a couple live streams ago, like, in case any. Yeah, I should be live for the foreseeable future in case I break another ankle or if cats have to go to the hospital again. And I said that as a joke, but I think fate took that as a challenge, and our cat had to be hospitalized. Yeah, Monday evening around 6. And if anybody else has cats, this might help you because I had no idea that this disease existed. So now that I do, I'll know what to look out for in case any of our other cats get it. But Monday, around 6, she started walking around really funny. She just wasn't acting herself that entire day, and really for the last couple of days, she just wasn't really as active and not playing as much, just laying around more. And then Monday, I was trying to feed her, and when I got her out of her little bed, she was just stumbling around, and it was very unlike her. She was walking like a drunk person. So we took her to the emergency vet, and the emergency vet saw her, and they said she had a ton of fluid on her lungs, and they drained a lot of the fluid. They said it looked like she had FIP, which is feline infectious para something. But they were right. It's kind of hard to diagnose, but she had all like the textbook signs of it, and it's a complication from coronavirus or a coronavirus, which cats get. In most cats, they just have an upset stomach and diarrhea for a couple days, and it's no big deal. But in like 5 to 10% of cats, it can mutate into something called FIP, which I think is like where the immune system is attacking itself, and yeah, they have a lot of problems. And before, there is a treatment that was approved last year for use in the US. Before that, it was like 95% of cats that got FIP would die. So it's a pretty serious disease. And fortunately, one of the treatments that we use for people for COVID is a version of that is also used for kittens for the FIP. It's mostly kittens that get it. Some older cats can get it too. But yeah, it was great. Well, it was a roller coaster because the first person we saw at the emergency vet was like, yeah, well, 95% of cats die. The next person we saw said that there's a treatment that the odds are like 80 to 90% if they get the treatment. So it was a roller coaster and like waiting for her to start the treatment. We had to get the drugs overnighted to us, and then we started them the next day. And then we had to wait because within like 48 to 72 hours, they're supposed to show signs of improvement. And if they do, then odds are they'll be fine. If they don't, odds are they won't be fine. So it was just a really awful week. And thank God she's doing great now. She's acting like a normal kitty. Her fever came down. Her appetite's way better. She can breathe again because she had the fluid drained. We just got to keep her on this medicine for the next 12 weeks, which is crazy that it's so long, but apparently you have to give it to them that long for it to for their body to like naturally build its own immunity or something like that. But yeah, all that to say, we did not make it to Wichita last week. We had to cancel our flights and our hotel and everything. And I was really bummed about that, obviously. I mean, I've been talking about going to the Wichita show for the last few weeks at least, and it was going to be my first time at the Wichita show. I did email Hal like as soon as we knew we weren't going and told him Hopefully we'd be able to make it out there next year. There is some good news, which is that I took everything that was allocated for the Wichita show, and we are going to York instead. So we will be flying out to York next month, the 20th and 21st, I believe, or maybe 21st and 22nd. It's about a month from today. So we are going to the York show instead. It's very sad we didn't make it out to Wichita last week. Thank you everybody for the well wishes for the kitten. She is doing great. She is in here with me today. She was sleeping. But if she comes over here, I'll display her for the camera. She's not completely shaved, but they had to do like ultrasounds and a bunch of blood draw and a catheter and testing and stuff. So she is missing a lot of hair, and she gets cold. She was like shivering earlier. But yeah, thankfully she's doing much better, and I was able to be live today, and things are pretty much, knock on wood, back to normal. But it was a crazy week, and yeah, I did not make it to the Wichita show, unfortunately. I did want to do I have a few things on the agenda today, actually. I did want to do a quick What Sold segment, and then I have some neutral feedback to talk about, which will be a fun one. But yeah, I just ran out of time to do it yesterday. It was like 5:30, and I was like, I'm hungry. I don't want to stay up here another hour to do a what sold video and upload it and everything. But it was a pretty crummy week in sales, which is part of the reason why I wasn't enticed to do a what sold video. You can see sales were down, and I listed a few days less last week than I normally do, just because we were at the hospital so much and there was so much going on. But I did list a little bit last week, and I had my store scheduled on time away for the Wichita show, but I took it off of time away, so I wasn't on vacation or anything. Sales just sucked. 1859 total sales, and then 1294 in net sales. You can see it's down about 20%. Only sold I sold 135 postcards. Sorry, I was looking at that number. So that wasn't down too much, down about 5%. But my average sale price, and I noticed I was selling a lot of low dollar postcards. I sold a ton of like $2, $3, and $4 postcards. So that's why my sale price was only $13.78. Hopefully I'll get it up this week. Got some good stuff to list. And I did have a few good sales last week, and I will show you all of them, all of the good sales. This is like the only item I can remember ever selling that's a postal history item. I haven't listed very many, and this one, I believe this mail steamer, and let me just search. I believe the steamer itself is a pretty common postcard. I think it's the cancel that makes it more uncommon. U.S. Mail Steamer, New York. Let's see. Let's see, that's inconclusive. Okay, yeah, so the postcard itself is pretty common. It's just not extremely common, but there's postcards available now for $14.99 and $22, and mine sold for, I guess mine may be a slightly different view too. But mine sold for $37.46, and I think it's because it was canceled from a C post office, which I tried to do some research on when I listed it, and I guess I came up with the conclusion that it was worth around $50, which is what I listed it for. And the few postal history stuff I've listed, I've just had no interest in whatsoever. But somebody did buy this one at 25% off, so $37.46. And yeah, that's the cancel. C post office is what that stands for, which I think is a little bit more uncommon from what I could find. I don't know much about this stuff. Not my area of expertise, but that's what the postcard looked like. This one was a neat one. Sold for $54.95. It's the Moldrig, whatever, sanitarium in New York City on, 7th Avenue. But it's an uncommon New York City photo card. Postmark 1919 in Harlem, I believe. I found that when I looked it up. This one I did take an offer of 65 bucks on. Maybe I should have held out for more, but the person who bought this one just kept messaging me and they eventually wore me down. So I took 65 bucks. And it was when I got at the Georgia Postcard Show. I paid $2 for this, so I did pretty good. uh, Return wise there, but nice card. This one I also sold for 65 bucks. And if you look up Culebra, West Indies, Puerto Rico, which is it's like an island I think that's now part of Puerto Rico, but was part of the West Indies. I don't know if the West Indies are still a thing. It used to be British West Indies. I know that. But this is the crew of the USS Kentucky bathing at Culebra, West Indies. And there were comps all over the place. When I initially looked this card up, I thought it would be like a $20 card based on the other ones I was seeing. But when I looked at ones that had sold, I was surprised how high some of them got. I believe the ones that sold for a lot had like a, naval, USS Navy connection, maybe. I think that's the case. Somebody look that up if you want to confirm or deny. But 65 bucks for that card was really good. And I don't know where I got this one. Um, this one had been up for quite a while, but a really cool thing with this one, somebody, and I won't tell you which person. I don't want to dox them, but somebody with the same last name as one of these people, which is a really uncommon last name, bought the card, so I think they might be related to them, which I thought was really, really cool. And it's, maybe going to like a granddaughter or grandson of one of these people. I know which one, I just don't want to tell you to dox them. Even though it'd only be their last name, but still. Keep a little bit of mystery. 29.96 is what that one sold for. This one was a really cool card. It had been up for a while, 25% off. I sent a 15% off, I think, so this went for like 25 and something. But somebody messaged me about this, and it was really neat what they knew about the history. They said, so it says Ingram or Ingham. Yeah, I think it's Ingham University. They wrote, and what is that? Oatka River is what they wrote, but it's Oatka Creek in Leroy, New York. And they said, there is no school here now. Um, and the person who bought it messaged me about it and said the university shut down, I think in the late 1800s, but the buildings were demolished around 1908 to 1909, I believe. So this one, it could be from an earlier negative of when the school was still hosting students or had students. But when this card was sent, the school had been closed for quite a number of years. And I just thought that was neat. And it was right before the school was torn down, which I don't think I knew when I listed it. But I know I couldn't really find anything from Ingham University in Leroy, New York, which, if it was abandoned um, before the golden age of postcards began, that makes sense. This one I listed this week and it sold this week for 1995, and it was a fairly uncommon printed card. There is a more common real photo card of this bank, and I think when I listed this one, I saw one up for 11 bucks. I listed mine for 20 because it had this other bank on here, which I couldn't find anything of, and it sold pretty quick. And I sold these two cards. They're both from the same small town in Missouri, Monogaw Springs. Well, this one's from Osceola, but Osceola is right near Monogaw Springs. And I believe these cards sold to the same buyer, too. Yeah, those both sold for 1995. Leroy. Leroy. Oh. Oh, I did pronounce it correctly. Okay. That's good because I would have not have guessed. I would have pronounced it correctly. This one, I don't know why it took so long to sell because Georgia real photos really tend to do really well, but and I have no idea where I got this one either. It has been up for quite a while though, and I think I ended up taking like 15 bucks or something for this card, 16 bucks maybe, just because it had been listed for a very long time. No idea why I didn't sell for more, but whatever. This is a house in Springboro, Pennsylvania. One thing I've been doing on cards or on real photos of houses like this is starting it with Old Historic Home. And for some reason, that tends to get a lot of interest. I had this one card I listed a week or two ago, and I thought it was nothing special at all. And I just put that in the title, Old Historic Home in whatever. The town was definitely nothing special. And I listed it for 20 bucks, and it had like a crazy number of views in the first 24 hours. I want to say like 20 to 30 views. I don't know. It could have been the same buyer going to it over and over again. But it sold pretty quickly too. So I've just been doing that. And I've been having good luck selling postcards of houses. There aren't really anything special by just putting Old Historic Home in the title. They are identified, but or identified locations, not identified where it is or what street it's on or anything. So yeah, that's your tip of the day. Put Old Historic Home in your title if you have a house like that. Okay, let me catch up on the chat here. Fartsack Jack said, yo, yo, yo. I just saw, I feel like Jim and Barbara may be following me. Did they follow you from Jackass Retro over here? Because I saw, it was literally like 15 minutes ago, I saw that he was going to go live at 2:30. I was like, damn it. I don't care if anybody goes live at the same time I was, but I just wanted to watch his live show. Because I haven't been able to watch it the last few days that he started doing live shows again. So I'm missing out on this one because I am live myself. But I'll catch up after it's over. But I assume you mean they're following you from show to show. I need to list cards, but it's gonna have to wait till after the move and I get my new eBay setup done. Oh, I heard you were moving into Jackass Retro's basement. That's what I heard. He was gonna be moving up to the attic, and you're gonna be down in the basement with him. Finally gonna have an area for taking clothes pics and an actual shopping area. Yeah, it seemed pretty shipping area, not shopping area. Yeah, it seemed pretty spacious down there. The white brick though, um, that was gonna be my suggestion was to paint the white bricks blue or some other color. I don't know why. I know some people like the white bricks, but to me, I like color. I don't like all the white and gray that everything has become. The walls in here are like an off blue, but our bathrooms are painted a dark blue, and I think it's a nice color. I pronounced it correctly, which yeah, surprise to me. Ours will be a deep green. That's nice too. I love nice colors like that, like dark, rich colors like dark blue, dark green, even like dark purple, black. Um, what other colors are there? I don't think I would do a red. Red's a little bit too bright, but maybe like a darker shade of red, like a burgundy. Is burgundy darker red? I wouldn't do brown. Um, I really do like dark blue though. And let me share these feedbacks. I've already got them removed, but I don't normally bother getting neutral feedback removed, but these were egregious, and I got these taken care of because they violated eBay's policy, and eBay agreed with me and removed both of them. But okay, I am not gonna unshare that. Sorry, when I share an image, it won't let me share it for later. It just like shares it immediately. Maybe you have to have the premium plan if you want to share it later instead of immediately. And let me just close some of these tabs. Sorry, I like to keep a neat and organized tab structure. But I got these feed. I was just looking at my feed. I don't look at my feedback very frequently because these feedbacks were left. They weren't even both within the last month. One was like within the last 90 days and one was within the last month. But it just bothered me because these people, and here are the feedbacks. The first one doesn't bother me as much as the second one, but the second one really bothered me. And I got them both removed by eBay. So the first one here, which wasn't as bad, and this buyer had messaged me several times, and they eventually just stopped messaging me. So I assumed that they got their postcard. But when they messaged me, they were like, hey, it's been 2 weeks and I still haven't got the card yet. What's the update? And I was just like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry. It's delayed. I don't have any update, and I just looked at the tracking and I was like, I see as of 2 days ago, it was still in transit to you in this city or whatever. So they did get it. They said long shipping, 3 weeks wait, card was well packed. Good thing because the envelope had tire tracks on it. Otherwise, a very nice card. So yeah, I think what happened with this one is it fell off of maybe fell off of a truck somewhere and got ran over and then they went back and picked it up. I have no idea. Something clearly happened to this card. Again, this feedback didn't bother me as much as the other one. Um, but still, like, I shipped it out right after you bought it, and the tracking shows that, which is why eBay removed it. I'm sorry it took 3 weeks, but that had nothing to do with me. Just a little annoying. But the next one is what really got me. And this is the reason why I submitted both of them for removal. This person said such long shipping for a postcard. For $1.50, a first class stamp should have gotten it here in a couple of days. It took over a week. I assume seller was in no hurry. They already had my money. And this card was like $6. Like, what am I going to do with your money when I have $6 anyway? There's nothing I can buy with $6. I can get 1.5 gallons of gas. I could get probably a small bag of apples. I cannot get any meals. So you're acting like I have like a 200 of your dollars and I'm just living it up on your money and not, bothering to send your card in a timely fashion. And I checked because I don't remember, obviously, every single buyer. I had no idea what postcard they were talking about. So I had to check. And this was the shipping on their postcard. They paid September 6th, which was a Saturday, and I shipped it out promptly Monday morning, which is what they were complaining about. And then it was delivered 5 days later. So from them ordering it on a Saturday, it got delivered the next Saturday. And they're in Indiana. It's not like they were in the same state or a state over from me, several states away. So I don't know what they expect for $1.50. And they acted like they said they put $1.50 in there, like it's some egregious amount. Where else can you pay $1.50 to have something mailed to your house that is something you order online? No, nowhere else do I know of anything you can order, unless it's like free shipping and the seller is just paying for shipping and including that in the cost of the item. Can you pay $1.50 to have something mailed to your home and hand delivered by the postal service? So that feedback really bothered me because you ordered it on a Saturday. I didn't look to see what time of day you ordered it, but I knew it was a Saturday, or know it's a Saturday, because I looked at my calendar, and 2 days after you ordered it, I shipped it because I don't ship on the weekend. I shipped the next business day after you place an order, which was that Monday. So I didn't really take any time to ship it, and it got to you later that week. So yeah, that feedback really bothered me, and it's always the buyer. I think if I'm remembering this postcard correctly, Farmland, Indiana is a really small town, but it just wasn't super desirable. So I priced the card at $9.95, really reasonable price. It was up for a while. It went on sale for 25% off. It was $7.49, and I took an offer for like $6 on it. Let me just make sure. I don't want to disparage this buyer any more than I already am, but yeah, that one really bothered me. And I mean, I guess at least they didn't leave a negative, but still, yeah, $6. $6 is what they paid. Original price $9.95. On sale for $7.49. And then they sent a $6 offer, and I was like, I guess I'll take $6, you cheapskate. And let that be a lesson. I think I avoid a lot of situations with bad buyers because I'm not willing to negotiate a lot below my prices, because I think I have pretty accurate prices. And all my postcards go on sale for 25% off after 4 months anyway. So even if my prices are a little bit high, then it'll be going on sale anyway. So I don't negotiate a lot on postcards, and I think that helps me avoid a lot of bad buyers, because it seems like the worst ones are the ones that just nickel and dime you, and you send them an offer for $6.50 and they want to pay $6.25 or whatever it is. But yeah, that one I would normally that would be on the border of accepting the offer or not, and I guess I was just like, whatever, $6, I'll take it. And yeah, clearly shouldn't have. But those were my two bad buyers of the week. I did, like I said, I did get those feedbacks removed by eBay because I selected the last reason. It was like due to factors outside of my control is the reason why I should have it removed, which are all for all the negative ones, or for all the neutral ones I've gotten removed. I've used that reason, because I usually complain about the shipping time, and I always ship my items on time. So if you don't get it on time, it's not my fault. But yeah, those just bothered me. And like I said, I don't get a lot of neutral or negative feedback, but uh, and sometimes they're funny. Sometimes they make me laugh. What was the one? I think I maybe have mentioned this one a few months ago, but I got one that was kind of funny not too long ago. And if y'all want to see my cat, I'll pull out my cat. She's fine, so it's not like it's disturbing her at all. She's been sleeping a long time too, so she needs to be a bit more active. She does get a little grumpy when she's woken up, but um, oh yeah, the funny feedback I got was generally as expected for an old postcard. That was a neutral feedback, and that's one like that's not even that's just funny. That doesn't make me mad at all. Like uh I imagine what this guy just leaves everybody a neutral feedback, and he's like, it's as expected for an old postcard. And then maybe one time he got an old postcard that was just incredible, and he's like, this is great. This is an exceptional old postcard. This is not what I expected. And then he gave that seller positive feedback. That's what I imagine. Uh, Using all different kind of area rugs for carpet should be fun, having something new. I don't know about living with the mother-in-law though. Told her she best be ready to jam out a lot. Yeah, uh, yeah, yeah, I can't really comment. I only live with my wife and cats, but I don't know how I would do living in a multi-generational household. Uh, I live in an MCM building, mid-century modern, for all of those who don't know, I believe, and have yellow, orange, avocado green, violet, light peach, and some warm off-white. Yeah, the colors used to be so much better. What they would use. I mean, some of them were horrendous, like the colors of carpets they used back in the day, like the green and browns. Ugh. But they did have some things right. And I think wallpaper's making a comeback too. What I don't like is just the grays and off-whites. It's just so boring to me. 5 days to receive a card doesn't seem unreasonable to me. You would think so, but yeah, apparently I was once I had her $6, I was gone, and never to be seen again until I mailed the card the very next Monday, the very next business day. I sold a $5 postcard and got negative feedback for a wood carving. Obviously, they mixed me up with another seller, but no response to feedback revision request. Did you put in a request for removal from eBay? Because they should. I don't know. Some people say they can't get things removed, and it seems like it should get removed. But I've always had good luck getting things removed. I never try to ask buyers to revise it, because if they're going to be dumb enough to leave feedback on the wrong item, what are the chances they're going to figure out how to revise that feedback? But yeah, I would just submit a removal request through eBay and say that it was the wrong item, or whatever category that fits in. I just negative review on October 18th for an item purchased August 14th. The buyer said I did not respond to a message. No message was sent. I offer free returns and no return requests. Uh, and no return request was made. When I tried to request a removal, eBay sent a message to buyer, is there a new law and eBay cannot remove negative? No, because they just removed those two neutral feedbacks, like literally within the last 2 hours. So there's definitely no, at least in Georgia. I don't know if laws differ by state on that. I don't think they do, but um, no carpet, original black tile floors. Oh, nice. Yeah, the carpet. I don't mind carpet that's like soft feeling. It's just the ugly colors they used to have back in the 70s. It was something. I'm waiting for an eBay response on the feedback removal. Okay, yeah, that. I don't know. I'd want to say that should be an easy case, like a slam dunk for them to remove, but they just seem to make dumb decisions about it sometimes. So I don't know what they're gonna remove or not anymore. Brad said, Daniel, do you ship your Continental cards in regular EcoSwift mailers, and do you mail cards out from your house? Yes and yes. So I just listed a good number of Continental cards, actually, and I bought a good number of Continental cards, actually, from Mike Blood. So Mike emailed me maybe a month or two ago, and he said he had a lot of Continental cards he was looking to sell, and I posted it on my Patreon in case anyone was interested. And I said, hey, this is a great deal. I think Continental cards are like if you're building up your business, or even if you're just looking for cards that sell more quickly, Continental cards are really good cards that sell. I mean, they're not going to be like crazy high dollar cards, most of them, but they're really good cards, and a lot of them you can sell for 5, 10, 15 bucks. I don't think nobody took him up on that because I bought all those cards a few months later, so you all had your chance. But anyway, I bought a ton of Continental cards from Mike Blood recently, and yeah, I just popped into my head since you asked about Continental cards. But yeah, I do ship them in 6.5 by 4.5 mailers, and I've got, I think it was like 10,000 I bought from him, and I just wanted to stock up on Continental cards because I think it's a really right now it's not really oversaturated at all, and a lot of the dealers overlook a lot of Continental cards. Some dealers don't list Continental cards at all, so if I can get them for a good price, I'm stocking up. Brad said I was worried they're too big to fit in the mailer. 6x4 fit in there fine with the sleeve. So yeah, the cards fit. The sleeve is a tight fit, but it doesn't scrunch up the sleeve or anything. And yeah, if you have oversized cards, like some I think are 5x7, obviously those won't fit. But the standard size Continental will all fit in, yeah, the EcoSwift mailer. So yeah, you can just use the same mailer. Let me get my kitten. I will have to awake her from her slumber, but hey, kitty, come here. Come here, girl. This is the poor little kitty, who had to be hospitalized. You can see, well, I don't know how well you can see, but she was shaved right here and on her belly and on the other side. So she's been shaved a lot, but yeah, she's had a rough last week along with us, and she's doing much better now, thankfully. And yeah, hopefully it stays that way. This medicine is an 84-day course, which I don't know any other medicine for cats or for people for that matter that is so long. And it definitely needs to be for 84 days because some cats do have reoccurring of their symptoms after that 84 days. But yeah, she's been back to her normal self pretty much. Is a little sleepy right now, as you can tell. But yeah, I just kept her up here, and her paws are shaved too, so she's got a lot of hair to grow back. Um, I wanted to keep her up here today just because it's a little warmer. But yeah, she's got everything she needs up here: her litter box, food, water, everything. But yeah, upstairs, since I run the heater, keep it a little bit warm than, or a little bit warmer than downstairs. And I figured with all of her missing hair, and it seemed like she was shivering a little bit earlier, so I felt bad for her and wanted to take her off here. But normally when I'm recording videos or when I'm live, I don't allow cats up here. But honestly, she's been way better than any of the other cats have been. She's just been snoozing. Cleo likes to be on camera, and if I'm ever doing anything on the computer, or especially if I'm making a video, she will walk in front of the camera many different times. But yeah, like kittens, surprisingly, because I would think she would be more wild, but she's been fine. Um, Let me see. I think I had a postcard of the week. Let me check. I should have shared it to my computer earlier. I did not. No, I don't have no postcard of the week this week. But I was planning to have a lot of awesome postcards from the Wichita show to show today, which yeah, I'm bummed about. But like I said, we are going to the York show instead of Wichita. And the York show, I mean, they just have so many postcards. I know I'm only going to be able to see a fraction of the number of cards they have. And I figured, because I've heard some people talk about York already, so let me know if you're going to York. That may be even more likely than, because I asked if anybody was going to Wichita, and I knew a few people that were going to Wichita, but York, I would think, is more likely because it's centrally located and, well, not, not central to everything, but I think a lot more people are closer to York than they are to Wichita. Um, I know there's a lot of people that are around the Pennsylvania, Ohio area, New York that are postcard dealers. Uh, Glad your kitty is okay. Yeah, man, I was really bummed when that happened because this is the third cat hospitalization we've had so far this year. And this one was definitely necessary. The second one, she was just being a drama queen and refusing to eat, which, yeah, if she refuses to eat again, I'm not taking her to the hospital. I'm just waiting it out. But yeah, the first one was definitely necessary too. He passed away. Second one, just being a drama queen. Third one, her with this crazy rare illness. That yeah was super scary. And we're still not totally out of the woods, but the chance since she's doing so well now, the chances of her doing well long term are pretty high. So, yeah, I think she'll be fine. She's got a lot of spunk. She's even when she was in the hospital, even when she had all the fluid like in her lungs and could barely breathe, she was still eating and running around until she literally like couldn't walk around anymore because, yeah, just like the neurological symptoms of it. Nancy said, I just had a buyer receive a damaged eBay standard envelope. Looked like it had been caught in the equipment, pulled out. It took a bite out of the envelope and postcard. I refunded them and he left a positive review. Yeah, that's great that he was understanding and left a positive review. And that does happen very rarely. I can count on probably one hand the amount of times I've had a buyer's postcard actually get damaged. And that's pretty remarkable considering the machines that these things have to go through. Um, but yeah, the postcards are resilient, but every now and then something like that does happen where a machine will damage it or it'll get caught in a machine. And apparently that one I had that left me the review or the neutral feedback and their postcard took like 3 weeks to get there. Something happened to that too. They said it had like tire tracks on it. Uh, but yeah, that's good. They were understanding. And yeah, if it's damaged like that, I would just file a claim with the eBay. What is it? PIP claim. What is this thing called? It's an eBay shipping protection plan claim. Here, I'll just put the link in the chat because I know I've shared it before, just in case anybody has not gotten or does not have this form saved. This is the form you use to get your money back for a card shipped with eBay standard envelope that is lost or damaged. And damaged, I think you can claim immediately, like whenever they get it and it's damaged. But the loss, you have to wait 15 days, I believe, from the day you shipped it. So just keep that in mind. If you have a buyer and it's been like 10 days, I just always say, hey, can you please just wait until the end of the week or whenever it is that it's going to be 15 days and let me know if it hasn't arrived. And then I, you know, open the case and give the buyer a refund. But I always wait the 15 days because a lot of times some of these postcards take a while to be delivered. And uh, yeah, something taking 10 to 14 days is not unheard of by any means. And you don't want to be in a situation, or at least I don't. Maybe you don't care, but I don't want to be in a situation where I give a buyer a refund and I'm not going to be able to get a refund for the card myself. And buyers are generally pretty understanding. I've never had one be like, no, I want a refund now. Or maybe I have had like one person be like that, but most of the time I just apologize and say, can you please wait a few more days? And they're like, yeah, that's totally fine. Uh, but yeah, I use this form for every postcard that has trouble with eBay standard envelope. And I recommend you do too, because it's basically, I mean, if you refund the buyer out of your own pocket, using this form is basically like getting free money back because that's super easy and they send it straight to your PayPal account. There was something else I was going to talk about in this video, but I can't, or in this live stream, but I can't remember what it was now. I'm totally blanking out. I have been using my heat. Like I said, I had the cat up here because it was so cold downstairs. It was in the 40s last night, and I think we have the heat on like 63 or 64, just because I am of the mindset that I'd much rather um, bundle up and be in blankets and stuff than spend more money on heating. Uh, so yeah, I don't mind if it gets cold in here, but for the cats, I feel a little bad, especially for the little one that was shivering. Um, but I like that it's been a little colder. It still has been a lot warmer during the day, which I guess is how it works at this time of year. But yeah, it's 78 outside now, and still much colder inside, and it'll be really cold tonight. I'm hoping maybe for the York show we get a little snow. I don't know how common that is. I imagine it's not super common at that time of year, around Thanksgiving, but I don't think it's out of the question, right? And I would love. We haven't gotten in Georgia. We haven't gotten a decent snowfall here in many years. Probably like 10 years. And a decent snowfall, I consider like at least like 2 or 3 inches. But yeah, I am enjoying the colder weather, and I like just waking up and being cold and just bundling up in the blankets. I don't know. It feels really nice. And yeah, I don't get that same feeling when it's like normal cold at night. Like, and we keep it normally when we have the air conditioning on at night. It's like 68 or 69, but there's something about it being cold outside and making it cold inside that feels extra cozy. I'm still trying to think of what I was going to talk. It was something postcard. Oh, articles. Yeah. So I do want to ma- uh, publish some more postcard articles on my website. I can pay a small sum of money. It won't make you rich, but it'll be um, more than it'll be like a decent dinner, let's say, for an article. Um, not crazy fancy, but I want to publish more postcard related articles. I write them myself whenever I have the time. The problem is I just don't have a lot of time usually with all of the other work that I do. So, and I have, maybe I have mentioned this before in the past. I can't remember if I have or not, but yeah, I've never published articles from or written by anyone else on my website. I know some other postcard websites that publish articles don't pay anything, so you'll be getting paid infinitely more than that. Uh, and I have no problem adding your name to the article or anything. It won't be like the article is written by Mailseum. It'll just be written by you. If you want to write articles, whoever you are. But I am looking for postcard related stuff, so you'd probably need to be interested in postcards at least somewhat. I know a lot of people are only really interested in the selling aspect, and I'm looking to publish, excuse me, I couldn't get my words out there, publish more articles related to the collecting side of things. And like I said, I have published a few of my own collecting related articles, but just looking to get more stuff out there. And there's a lot of people that find my website every single month that have no idea about postcards, and I think it's a really good avenue to introduce people to the hobby, and that's the main reason why I want to put articles on my website, or regular articles up on my website. Like last month I had, and this is with the same number of articles I've always had. This is like what my website gets without adding anything to it. But whenever I do have the time to like add new stuff to my website, my website gets a lot more views. Like just yesterday, I had 129 users on my website. Like not 129 page views, like 129 different people went to mailseum.com just yesterday, which is really cool. And yeah, my traffic's been growing over time, but I just haven't been able to keep up and like publish articles regularly. But I want to make my website more of like how postal history is. However, I know I do have, or I currently have a postcard show calendar up on my website. I think what I'm gonna do is just defer to postcard history and basically make that page redirect to the postcard history show calendar, because it is, and I did have some shows that they didn't have, so it wasn't like it was just a, the same. It wasn't redundant, because I reached out to a lot of dealers and people that ran shows and got information on shows that didn't have any online presence. So I will make sure that they get those up on their website, but yeah, it's just so much work to maintain that I would rather just redirect it to someone else. But one thing that I do want to do is the postcard related articles. So if you want to write a one off, if you want to write one, once a month or something like that, just let me know. Daniel at mailseum.com is where you can email me. I assume there probably won't be a ton of interest in this, just because I know a lot of you all are more sellers and not collectors. But if there are any collectors that are watching this and you feel like you'd like to write something, let me know. What I will do too is edit your article for free. Not like you would ever pay anything for that or anything, but I do have a journalism degree, so I'm not totally unqualified to write and edit stuff. But yeah, it would be, I don't know. I think I would do it if another website was doing it, but I just wish and I probably will have more time in the future. But I've just been saying that for a while, so I think it's time to pay somebody else to write articles and to publish them. But anyway, that's the other thing that I wanted to talk about. I'm sad I'm missing Jackass Retro's live show right now. I wish he would have done it a little later in the day, but it's okay. I'll go back and watch it later. I'm glad he's doing videos again, and glad that he's doing well in Joliet, Illinois, which isn't that where the state prison is? Fart Sack Jack, Joliet, Illinois prison. Did we get the full story of why he actually moved to Joliet? Or no, it was Peoria. Peoria. Sorry, Joliet is where the prison is. They do have a. I don't think they have a prison in Peoria. Okay. No, they have a halfway house. It says. Sorry, the cat is. She was just making a weird noise. I think she's fine. I am gonna be like walking on eggshells though until like her treatment is up and until she's doing fine after the treatment. But yeah, she's just walking around looking at me. You can come over here if you want. I have these slippers on that the cats are terrified of, and I forgot it because I haven't worn them in a while because it hasn't been cold in a while. And one of my cats would just attack them, and the other one, when I put them on today, was running away from them. I don't think she's seen them yet, but they are. I mean, they're pretty scary for cats. It's a Cheshire cat slipper. So yeah, I guess that would be pretty scary if you're a cat. But yeah, one was running away from them, and Francine, I don't think she's seen them yet. But they're the only pair of slippers I own, so I really don't want to stop wearing them. But the cats do, or at least one of them runs away from me every time I walk toward them with the slippers on, which I think is funny. Hopefully, oh my god, sorry, I had a wardrobe malfunction down there. I think so. I said before I was going to go to the Wichita show that I wanted to start doing members videos on YouTube, and I still want to start doing that. I don't know if I'm going to start with the York show. I'll probably try to record some stuff while I'm at York, but I did want to record this video about a lot I bought the other day, and I didn't want to make it public just because I don't want to tell everybody, if I have a good place I buy postcards from, and I'm telling people I want it to be a small group of people and not everybody. But it was a really nice collection of postcards I bought, and it went for a pretty high price. But I think I did really well, and I wanted to make a video talking about how it can be worth it to pay up for cards if you can afford it. I don't know if I would recommend it starting out. Actually, I definitely wouldn't recommend it starting out. I think almost everybody should start with, just buy as nice a cards as you can get, but don't buy the cards that you aren't sure of, because you probably don't have the experience to sell those for, I mean, maybe it can be a learning experience and you can still sell them for really good money. But speaking for myself, I don't think I would have been able to sell the postcards that I recently got for. And I did make mistakes like this too when I first started out. I spent too much money on some postcards, and if they were in somebody else's hands, they probably could have made good money um, with the cards, but because I was such a novice, I just didn't have the knowledge to make good money from those cards. So I think, especially when you're starting out, it's probably good not to spend a ton of money on cards until you have more experience and feel comfortable doing that. And what I mean by a ton of money is like a few dollars per card in a bigger lot. Because once you're spending that sum of money, that can be in the hundreds or thousands of dollars, then you have to know your stuff and know that your investment is gonna be worth it, and you're gonna have to know what to price your cards at, not just to not underprice them, but also to not overprice them and to make sure you get your money back. And I feel like there's a pretty good bit of opportunity in that window. Because a lot of people are a little bit scared of the super high dollar stuff. And I am too if I don't know much about it. I will definitely, if it's a category or topic that I'm like, I don't know anything about, Russian postcards, and $2 per card for these nice Russian postcards might be a good price, but um, I've just never sold them, so I'm not going to dip my toes in the water with such a high price. But yeah, if it's the type of a collection that is a little bit harder to maybe put a dollar amount on, I think there can be, because it's easy if you see something that's your standard run of the mill postcard collection. Maybe it's a dealer stock or it's a dealer's dollar boxes, and you have a pretty good idea what you're going to be dealing with. Some of the cards are going to be less common. Some of the cards are going to be much more common in your Washington, D.C., and your Niagara Falls, and they're not going to sell for very much, or you're just not going to list them. So, for a lot of stuff like that, you're going to have some spillage or cards that you can't really make money on, and then you're going to have other cards that you can pay for the entire lot with and make profit from. That's normally how it works. What I'm talking about here is more of the lots where there's no fluff, there's no filler, or there's very little. So the percentage of cards in the collection that you can sell is much higher than normal, and the quality is much higher than normal, which allows you to pay a much higher price than normal. And I've just been gravitating towards collections like that recently. And yeah, I think that's something I can only do just because I have more experience. I wouldn't recommend doing that if you are just starting out, and I think you can definitely lose money or make it really hard on yourself to make money if you do that. But if you do have the experience, I think for some collections it's worth being a little spendy on and maybe spending a few bucks a card on some larger collections. And I have done that. That's something I never would have done. Like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. And I was very strict about what I would spend per card. And I've even said in past videos, like, yeah, what I will do is try to spend $1 per listable card. And I still try to do that if it's a lot where I think there's going to be a decent number of, or a decent bit of common stuff mixed in. I'll just, think to myself, hey, if I can sell 25% of the cards for $10 a card, I'll try to pay a dollar per card for listable cards. But yeah, I don't know. I still feel like in some cases when and I'll talk about this more in the video if I get around to recording it, but I do calculate. So what happened with this recent auction? I'm not going to talk about the specific auction in this video, but I'll probably talk about it in the members video. It wasn't an auctioneer that I had bought from before, but they had what looked like a really nice collection, and they only had a couple photos, which wasn't obviously was not enough information for me to bid a good bit of money on. So I just emailed them and asked for some more information, asked for how many postcards were in the collection, and they were very nice to give me all that information. Like, here's how many postcards are in this album, here's how many are in this album. So that gave me enough information to where I came up with a price that I was willing to pay per card, which was $3 per card based on the quality of the cards that I saw. And yeah, I would say the pictures were definitely representative of the cards I got, and I definitely got what if not a little bit better than I expected, I definitely got what I expected. But yeah, that's something that is relatively new for me because in the past I wouldn't have been willing to pay $3 per card like that. But yeah, I don't know if bending the rules is the right word or just I've gotten to a point where I feel comfortable paying up for stuff that I know sells better than average. And I know there's going to be a lot of 40, 50, $60 cards. I don't know. Still working on that in my, in my mind. On the back burners. Probably be a members video within the next couple weeks. I don't know why I just turned the heat on. I am too hot in here, and I just turned the heat on again. The kitten definitely wants out, so I'll probably get off here in a few minutes. Since I woke her up from her nap, I have a kitten net or like a gate, because our one cat doesn't get along with the other cats, and she has to be by herself. I didn't want to just close her in a room, so we got this gate, and that goes in the hallway, so she can go. She has this own little room that has her. It's basically her room. It has her water, food, litter box, everything, and then she can come to my office whenever she wants. And I think she's totally happy with that. And it's probably, honestly, more square footage than we had in our first apartment. But anyway, we have a net up because she just does not like the other cats. And since the kitten had to be by herself for the first few days, or she couldn't have free roam of the house in case she, stumbled off something and hurt herself, I put her up here in my office, and yeah, she scaled this cat net that's over 6 feet tall, and it's supposed to be cat proof. The other three cats have not been able to get past this net, but yeah, she got out and was roaming around the house, and I freaked out when I came up here. Oh, here she is, and she's running away again. Because I had thought I had locked her up here, and she was gone. Brad said, is there a savvy way to ask a card lot seller if the cards shown are representative of most of the cards or just some cherry-picked good ones? Hey kitty, come here. Come here, girl. Yeah, I'm gonna have to let her out in a minute. She's getting a little rowdy. She does like to be held for the most part. So if you're holding her, she won't really try to get away, but this is Miss Sickly. And I felt so bad when we took her back from the hospital because she didn't smell like herself, and the cats thought she was a stranger, and they were mean to her, and I felt so bad for her. But fortunately, she's buddies. She's friends with all of the cats. She's the only one that gets along with everybody. But yeah, she's a very sweet cat, and now she is friends with the other ones again, that they recognize her. But yeah, you said, is there a savvy way to ask a postcard lot seller if the cards shown are representative of most of the cards or just some cherry-picked good ones? I don't know if there's a savvy way to go about that, but I would say it's it's not too difficult to tell generally. It depends on where the sellers are at. If they're on eBay, you have to worry a lot about the sellers, having a deeper knowledge of postcards and trying to get rid of some backstock. But most sellers of lots on eBay aren't trying to be deceptive, so they'll either have a lot of postcards listed in their eBay store, or if you go to their sold items, you can see that they sell a lot of individual cards. So I would just say to check that way, to get an idea of what they know about postcards. But that doesn't tell you for certain whether or not a lot is going to be good. But I would say that will tell you whether they just showed some cherry-picked good ones, because chances are if they don't sell postcards, they don't really know what's good and what's not good. They may know that Halloween are good, or black and white postcards can be better. but they probably don't know a ton. And I had, and it, I would say this too: if somebody does not regularly deal in postcards and they're selling a lot, it does not mean that that is not a cherry picked lot. It just may mean that it was cherry picked by somebody else. Because I've definitely had that happen before, and it hasn't been bad stuff because, I mean, just maybe a little bit better than expected because I have, I have to see some decent evidence before I'm willing to take a chance and buy a lot. But I've had that happen before where I may have bought from somebody on eBay and they don't have any individual postcards listed in their store. They sell a bunch of random junk, none of which is postcards, like they normally sell Hot Wheels and clothing or something like that. And yeah, so I think, oh, well, this could be a pretty decent lot of postcards. They very well may have could have got very well could have gotten that from an antique store and it's been picked through many times over. They could have gotten that as like a dollar box from a dealer and it's been again picked over for valuable stuff many times over. So yeah, definitely look at what the seller sells. And I don't even I've my thoughts on this have changed over time too, just like how much I'm willing to pay per card. I would have never bought 2, 3, 4 years ago. I never would have bought from somebody that sells postcards on eBay. I would have thought, why would I buy from you when we're selling in the same place? And any cards that are valuable, you're going to want to sell for yourself. That just doesn't make any sense. That's what I thought. But I've definitely evolved over time, and I think every dealer looks at things differently. And you can make money off of some cards that it really is true. Like one person's trash is another person's treasure when it comes to postcards, because like these all these Continental cards that I bought um, from Mike Blood, like I got them for a really good price. Obviously, a lot of the cards are not going to sell for crazy money, but these are cards that he, just based on his experience selling, has not really sold a lot of, and they haven't sold well for him. So he doesn't look at them as valuable postcards. But I've gotten some really nice. I haven't gone through a lot of them yet, but the ones that I have gone through, I've gotten some nice cards. Like I've got a couple mall interiors I just sold the other day, and I just listed 100 of them. So not like a crazy amount, but the Continentals just seem to sell more quickly for me. And I sold these mall interiors for $15, like right after I listed them. But yeah, I don't buy from a lot of other dealers, but I'm not necessarily opposed to it at all. And if I think that a dealer has some stuff that can be good for me and that I want to sell, I will definitely buy from them. And yeah, you'd be very surprised at the types of cards some dealers pass up. And uh, yeah, buying from other dealers can be really profitable. So that's probably more than you wanted, but hopefully that answers your question. Poor kitty, both sick and hated. Yeah, it was so sad. And she's our sweetest cat. Um, like I said, she gets along with everybody. Uh, like we didn't intend to have four cats, but we are now in a situation where we have four cats. We had two cats earlier this year. One of them died, and we were down to one. Then we wanted to have at least two cats that liked each other. So we got a bonded pair that got along. Cause come on up. What are you doing? Come here. We wanted to get at least two cats that liked each other because our cat Cleo, she was a feral cat, feral for a while. Like she was living on her own, so she doesn't really get along with any other cats. And we didn't want to be in a household with two cats that hated each other. Not that we were before. She tolerated Buster, who right back here, he's the one who died. She was, looking back on it now with how much she hates the other ones, she basically loved Buster, but you would say looking at it, she just tolerates him. And we wanted to get two cats that loved each other. So we adopted two that were a bonded pair. So then we ended up with three cats, and that was just going to be the number of cats we had. But this little one, my dad found in a junkyard, and she was abandoned. My dad's a mechanic. He found her outside in like the place where they put all the junk, like all the parts and stuff. She had a ton of fleas, had coronavirus from her mom. We didn't know that at the time, but now we do. And I just could not say no. And I wanted to take her home. And we, so in the county where my dad lives, I don't think it's a no-kill shelter. And I didn't, they get like a lot of kittens in, so I didn't want to risk her like being put down or anything. So we adopted her, even though we weren't planning on having a fourth cat. And she is just the sweetest cat. And yeah, very not as mischievous as some other cats, but very independent. Doesn't like being. She will tolerate being held for a period of time, but definitely does not like being held back or told what to do. Uh, but yeah, fortunately, she's friends with a few of the other ones now. Regarding one person's trash being another person's treasure, I watched a Julia Norman video where she traded some linen cards for RPPCs because the other person collected linens. Yeah, and that's one thing. Honestly, I need to learn more, or not learn more. I mean, I know plenty about linens, but I need to list more linens because I would say that's definitely an area where I just don't like linens as much. And of course, I love the roadside diners, the car dealerships, the really nice linens I love. But, linen cards of buildings or of street scenes, I don't really do anything with those just because I I know on average those are probably more common than the golden age cards, but I also know I'm passing up on a lot of linen cards that could sell for pretty good money. So I need to that's something in myself I need to do better about, but yeah, people love different things, and my own interests as a collector change over time too, or have definitely changed a lot over time. And what was interesting to me like a couple years ago is, not really interesting to me anymore. Like some of the cards that I kept when I first started collecting, um, I've sold a lot of them because if a card doesn't interest me anymore, I'm like, I don't have any, connection to this card. But Uh, yeah, I've sold a decent number of the ones that were in my collection. Some cards that I have in my collection, though, I know will never leave my collection. And some may, one day I might say, hey, I just don't really, have as strong of an interest in this type of card that I used to in the past, and I might sell those and then collect something else. That's the beauty about postcard collecting to me is there's so many different areas to collect and so many different things to appreciate that you can easily, if you get bored of one thing, it's so easy to find a new interest and to find something else to collect. And you don't even really have to try. And it just happens naturally. And that's how postcard collectors get these collections of tens of thousands of postcards because they started out with, postcards of their hometown. And then they're like, oh, well, these postcards of beers are pretty cool, or of breweries, or whatever it is. Fill in the blank. Probably, I mean, I know there's thousands of different topics somebody could possibly collect and be interested in. And yeah, I'm really excited to go to York and definitely going to be shopping a lot for my personal collection, some to buy or some to sell too. But yeah, was disappointed I didn't get to go to Wichita. And I'm in the Wichita Club Facebook group, and Alan is really good about posting pictures of the happenings. So he was posting pictures of people shopping at the show, but he also posted some pictures of the finds. And I think they maybe posted a video of some of the finds at the show. And that definitely gave me FOMO watching that of all the incredible cards that people got at the show. And I know I'll be able to find a lot of good ones at York. So excited to at least get to go to that big show this year. I'll probably be getting off here in a couple minutes. The kitten is acting a little restless. I think she wants to be with her friends. And she's, it sounds like she's getting into something over there. So if you got any more questions, put them in the chat within the next couple minutes or hold your peace until next week. Barbara said I traded holiday lithos for RPPCs with someone. She just didn't like listing them. And I have been like that too. I do list some of the artist cards. But for Christmas cards, like if it doesn't have like a nice Santa on it, or if it's not signed by Clapsaddle or one of the other well-known artists, Winch, Brundage, Schmucker, like I'm just not really interested in listing it. So I totally get that. Oh, you mean I sorry, I think I read that in reverse. So she just didn't like listing the RPPCs is pretty crazy. But yeah, if they're unidentified, I can see that. But if it's an identified real photo, I don't know what's not to love. But everybody has the thing they like. And I know there's people that like holidays a lot more than me. I would say what I like the most is town views for sure. And I know a lot of people are like that too. But um, I think I definitely have an eye for southern towns a lot more than many other dealers. A lot more than most dealers, I would say, just because, and I'm definitely not an expert in all areas. Like, there's dealers, come on up, girl. There's definitely dealers that have an eye for, or like a much better eye that for the Northeast than I do. Come on up, don't just whine. Like there's some states that I just don't like listing that I'm sure they have a lot of small towns that sell really well, but Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, I just shy away. Even if it's a really small town, like I just don't like listing this state. Uh, but yeah, I think I am able to really hone in on good Southern cards, and most of the collections that I buy will be like a collection is primarily northeastern states, I'm probably not going to buy it. It will have to be a state I know really well for me to buy, and there are states outside of the southeast I know really well. Um, but yeah, I just part of it's just what I like to sell, and part of it's what I'm really good at selling. It's what I stick with. Where's the York show? It is in York, Pennsylvania. It's, I believe, maybe 45 minutes outside of Lancaster, like half an hour south of Harrisburg. It has 75 plus dealers, biggest show in the US. It was definitely on my bucket list and my list for next year, but since we had to cancel the Wichita one, fortunately, we were able to get refunds for all of our, hotel flights and everything. And yeah, just put that right into the York show. So, York, Pennsylvania, and more postcards than you can imagine. Kitty, what is wrong? Yeah, she definitely wants to be let out. So I'll get off here after I look at these last few comments here. Yeah, she only lists holiday cards. She doesn't like listing places. Hey, that's yeah, great to have someone like that. Come on up. Come on up. What are you just looking at me for? She's just mean mugging me from the ground. She likes to whine a lot for really no reason. What? The other cats usually want food. She's not super food motivated. Um, I think she just wants attention mainly. It's okay, but she is, yeah, very very sweet. And I don't know how, because I mean she was living in a junkyard, so I don't think she met a lot of people. uh, DOL, I don't know. Is that Dole will trade holiday for RPPC and holotypes? DOL. I may maybe. Oh, I will. Sorry. Totally missed your second message at first. Oh yeah, yeah. Where do I sign up? No, that's a great connection that you found though, and it's all about. I would suggest for people like if you're looking for play, because I know people ask me all the time. The number one question everybody has, and no matter, I mean, unless you're like Marielle Martin, everybody wants great sources for good quality inventory, and I would say that's probably a great place to look at other dealers who maybe don't sell the exact same stuff that you do. And even if it's just something like Continental cards, like I have with Mike Blood, a lot of dealers don't really like their Continental cards. It doesn't have to be. I mean, the chances of you finding somebody that doesn't like listing RPVC are probably it's probably going to be pretty hard to find. But I mean, if you find something like that, that's incredible. And just network amongst dealers at shows online. I mean, if you see people on eBay and their store is like only a certain type of postcard, or they clearly like a certain type of card better than others, I would say, hey, do you have a lot of blank that you don't want? And you can have a mutually beneficial relationship. She owns you. Yeah, she's very. I feel a little bad because um she definitely gravitates towards me more than my wife. And like, she won't really stay. If my wife tries to hold her, she'll just try to get out, and she'll let me hold her without trying to get out. But she what first she looked just like our cat Buster that passed away. So when my dad found her, I was like, I cannot let this cat just be, roaming around there without a home when she looks just like our previous cat who passed away. And I didn't know that she would be so sweet and acclimated to people. But they loved her at the hospital too. And, I would think if we hadn't had the other cat be hospitalized, okay, kitty, um, I would have just been like, they probably say this to every cat that comes through the door. But our cat Cleo was hospitalized in June, and they did not talk like that about Cleo. They were like, yeah, she's, a little grumpy. But they loved her at the hospital, and yeah, you can see right there where she's bald. And she was shivering earlier. We got to get her weight up because she's about 6 months old, and they're supposed to be roughly a pound a month is what they gain when they're kittens. And she's a little underweight since she's been ill. But yeah, I think she wants to be let out and be with her buddies. So I am going to call it a day. I will hopefully be able to make a What Sold video next Monday. If not, I should be live next Tuesday. Thanks everybody for coming in. It's always great to do these live streams. I think Jackass Retro will be live tonight. If he's not, he's live most every night now doing his ship show. So go check him out in Peoria, Illinois now. But yeah, Jackass Retro is another great postcard related live show to watch. And I also watched Jiminy Flip It, I think, is back to doing weekly live streams. So two great other postcard related live streams to check out in the meantime. But thanks everybody for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.